Hello humans, it's B Kira here. In anime, what is the most dangerous skills out there? A swordsman who can slash anyone in his path? A person with the ability to freeze anyone or anything around him? While those with such ability have the potential to do some massive damage, in my opinion, it is those who can create havoc by being able to use explosives. With its potential of dealing massive damage not only to the targets and surroundings, it can also deal lots of damage to the user. Today's video will introduce some of the most iconic explosive users in all of anime. Introduced in My Hero Academia, Katsuki Bakugo is the rival of the main protagonist Izuku Midoriya. While Katsuki is considered a hero, some say that he is a villain due to his crude and arrogant personality. He scored first in the entrance exam, and in the finals he managed to score third, being one of the most intelligent characters in the anime. His combat senses are also very good as he was scouted to many places with his combat sense and his intelligence. His arrogant and explosive personality reflects his skills in battle very well. His Grenadier Bracer stores his nitroglycerin-like sweat, and once filled, he can pull the grenade pin to release a large blast. The more nitroglycerin-like sweat he stores, the bigger the explosion. Because of this ability, his skills are considered as one of the strongest ones in his class. He doesn't just use the explosive as an offensive weapon, but also for utility. He can use his explosive in succession to fly and can focus his explosives in one small place to create flashes. These abilities can be seen in the episode where many heroes showed their skills and faced off each other. In his battle against Uraraka, she uses her Meteor Storm move to lift rocks off the air and try to finish the battle by dropping it all on Bakugo. But Bakugo countered the move by blasting all the rocks that are in the mid-air and ultimately beat her. Another time is when he battled against Tokoyami, and Tokoyami can nullify any physical attacks, which made it hard for Bakugo, but he learns that Tokoyami is weak to bright attacks, and knowing this, Bakugo uses his explosives to make a flash and winning the battle. Aside from that, he also helps out protagonists when they are in danger, and since he's very strong and smart, he's rarely seen losing a fight. A key weakness to Bakugo is the fact that his attacks come from his sweat, and the times that he cannot sweat can make him completely useless. And in wintertime, his explosives take longer to explode and covers less area. To compensate for this, his Grenadier Bracers help him to collect the sweat, and it allows him to overcome some of his weaknesses. His very straightforward personality served as a comic relief at times for the anime, and popularity rankings, he is always one of the top ones. When first gathering ideas and characters for this topic, the first one that came to mind was the Arch-Wizard of the Crimson Demon Clan, Megumin in the anime Konosuba. Megumin is a part of the main protagonist's party, Kazuma's party. She's the character that is very immature and childish, and her immature and recklessness personality is reflected in her explosive attacks. She has the great potential in magic, and she's one of the most talented ones in the anime. But being so talented, she has one critical weakness that she can only use one ability, which is just exploding things. Her magic is called Explosion, and it is strong enough to not just damage common monsters, but she can also deal damage to demons and gods. It's one of the most powerful attacks in the anime. Since it is one of the strongest attacks, it can be heavy on the user's mana, and not everyone is equipped to be able to use this ability. Just one use of this attack is enough to take out the enemy without a trace, and even the enemies that the protagonist struggles with can easily wipe them out. Against the former general of Demon King's army, Vanir, he gained control over the body of darkness. Megumin used her magic, and her magic was strong enough to rip apart Vanir from darkness's body. Another time is when Sylvie absorbed the abilities of Hans and Dulahan and started to rampage in the town. Megumin and her ally Yunyun used their magic together and blew up Sylvia. Because of all of this, Megumin is the damage dealer of their party, with the downside of using a lot of mana. Even the legendary wizard Whis, famous for having a lot of mana, when she used the explosion magic once and she fully drained her mana. Since the mana cost is so high, it's only logical that this attack is used only as a last resource. But Megumin uses it carelessly, even putting her teammates in trouble. Another key weakness of Megumin is that she only knows how to use explosion magic and nothing else. Other than that, she is overall a very strong magician who provides lots of damage for her team. In Naruto, Akatsuki is a group formed of many villains, but every member in the group had distinctive personalities that gained lots of popularity. Deidara specifically gained a huge amount of popularity due to his distinctive character. Being a self-proclaimed artist, he wanted to show his art to the world, which led him to leave the Hidden Stone village. Being one of the youngest in the group, he had a unique aura to him that made him stand out amongst the elite group. He had a mouth on the palm of his hand, and he would eat clay through those mouths and infuse it with his chakra to make an explosive called Explosion Release. He could change the shape and sizes of the explosive by infusing more chakra, and those explosives would be even bigger. His most common attacks are making clay molds of ants or birds that can move on their own, the C1 that can assassinate people, the C2 where Deidara makes a clay dragon that can fire explosives, and the C3 that can explode an entire village. He can also make clay clones use his earth release hiding like a mole technique that allows him to go underground. And his strongest move is the C4 Garuda and C0. The C4 was made specifically to kill Itachi, where he would make a huge clone of himself that would explode and release microscopic bombs that if people around the initial explosion inhales, it would go into their body and explode internally. And C0 is a last resort ability where Deidara would eat a huge chunk of clay and explode himself, causing a massive explosion around him that can stretch out to 10 kilometers with the cost of his own life. With his ability to assassinate, cause explosions, and create havoc over a large area, he was in the way of Naruto's mission a lot of time, causing them to slow down significantly. His weaknesses are that he has to eat clay and use his chakra to focus on making the explosive, and lightning attacks are very effective to him. Regardless, he's a very strong character, even taking out Gaara in his own village, and him even showing his taijutsu skills. This next character is like Deidara in their skill, which is Karasu in Yu Yu Hakusho. He is known for his handsome looks for a villain. His face is not man-like, and being so slim and tall, many thought that he was a girl at first. However, contradicting to his looks, he's a psychopath who enjoys the pleasure of seeing people suffer. He takes his time in killing people, slowly ending their life. He has abilities to create bombs with his demon energy. Because the bomb is made from demon energy, it can take a form of life and move on its own like Deidara's abilities. He usually summons bat-like bombs, and his signature skull-engraved grenade, his strongest move is his body manifesting the demon energy and becoming a bomb himself. He would charge up his energy and charge right into the enemy, dealing massive damage to whoever gets in the way. If the enemy's strength is much weaker than Karasu, they would not be able to see the bomb at all, making it also a surprise attack for some. In the Dark Tournament arc, he was seen taking out weaker opponents with ease until the Grand Finals, where he meets with one of the protagonists, Kurama. In their battle, he was seen pushing Kurama's demon fox form to defeat. Of course, being one of the protagonists, Kurama ends up turning the battle around and ultimately wins, but Karasu was one of the strongest villains in the entire anime by the fact that he pushed Kurama's demon fox form to the brink of defeat. In JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Diamond is unbreakable. One of the main antagonists, Yoshikage Kira, doesn't have the typical villain mindset of taking over the world or becoming the strongest villain. He's a humble salaryman and doesn't exercise much, giving off a similar vibe to Enrico Pucci. However, his ability is one of the most destructive ability in the anime, the ability to make anything that he touches a bomb. Bomb number 1, Bomb Transmutation, has the ability to charge any object with explosive energy, which is then transferred into the first person to touch it, where then it can be manually detonated with a gesture. Bomb number 2, Sheer Heart Attack, is the ability that has an autonomous entity that detaches from his hand, where then it tracks and destroys targets with infrared homing. And bomb number 3, Bites the Dust, explodes anyone who would make an eye contact with Killer Queen and has ability to travel back in time up to an hour. Whoever gets caught in this attack is sealed by fate, and even if the time reset and everyone went back in time, they would still die because of the fate. But just as strong this ability is, there are flaws to this attack. The problem with bomb number 1 is the Killer Queen can only detonate and make one bomb at a time. Bomb number 2 is tracked by infrared, so if they make a fire nearby, the bomb would start to track the fire, and other characters use their abilities to maneuver their way around this. Bomb number 3 has a big problem that it is hard to initially set up the attack, and once Kira uses this attack, he cannot use any other abilities. While seeming innocent and a humble salaryman, his dark side of collecting women's hands and being psychopathic makes him one of the least likable characters in this anime. In this video, we discuss some of the best explosive users in all of anime. Explosive ability is very dangerous to the surroundings as well as the characters themselves. However, it's a pretty attractive skill when it's combined with distinctive personalities of the characters. Which of the explosive user had the best abilities?